You know, the other part of it is I think people watching this don't realize how hard it is for you to get around. You know, they look at you and your very positive attitude, and they don't understand that it's a superhuman effort. Can you just briefly tell me about the time you finally climbed your mountain? Do you remember you told that story with Carolyn? Was there a restaurant or something that
yes,
required you to?
In Monte Carlo, there's a restaurant in the village of Ez, and my wife and I had taken a cruise, and we found ourselves in Monte Carlo, and we checked into a hotel there after the cruise was over, and I said to the concierge, I said, I'd like to, I called up on the phone, I said, I'd like to take my wife for a very romantic dinner, and I said, someplace where you would like your boyfriend or fiance or husband to take you. She said, I'll take care of that. And we came downstairs, and there I am with my crutches, and she looked at me, she said to me, perhaps we ought to rethink where we're sending you. I said, well, you can only go up, it's a mountain, and you can only take a taxi halfway up the mountain, and then you have to climb the rest of the mountain via these stairs that are stones built into the mountain. And I said, okay, I want to go. And she said, yes, I want to go. And the taxi took us halfway up the mountain, and this big burly guy opens the taxi cab door, and he looks at me, and he taps his shoulder like he's going to carry me up. And I take my hands, and I go, no, I'm going to walk up. And I proceeded with Carolyn to walk up these stairs, and I guess it took about maybe 45 minutes, and I was sweating, and you could have wrung out my jacket. And we got to the top of finally got to the top where the restaurant was located. And she looked at me, and I looked at her, and we had climbed our mountain, and they said it wasn't going to be able to be done, but damn it, if you want to do something, you do it. And how do you know whether you can do something unless you try? So the owner of the hotel this restaurant greeted us, and he said, how did you get here? And I said, one step at a time. And he sat down, and he ordered us champagne and drinks and everything. Well, going up was one thing. Now, I had to go back down, and that was somewhat more challenging. And they sent this big burly guy to hold on to the back of my belt, and we proceeded down after a wonderful dinner with wonderful vistas. And if anybody that's listening to this gets to Monte Carlo, I recommend them going to Chateau Ez. It's a wonderful restaurant. But that was just the fortification and the confirmation that you can do anything if you want it bad enough.
Yeah, great story. And there are other mountains. You still play golf?
Oh, yes. I played yesterday. I played two days ago. To me, golf was one of the biggest motivating factors for me getting out of that wheelchair. I was sitting in Magee Rehab, nothing moving, as I say, from my shoulders down. And I asked my wife, Carolyn, I said, do me a favor. I said, would you bring me a 7-iron?
Oh, my gosh.
And she says, what are you going to do with a 7-iron? I said, just bring me a 7-iron. So she, from home, brought me a 7-iron. Since I couldn't hold the club with my hands because I couldn't feel anything, they wrapped my hands in Velcro around the club. And I said, okay, put a ball down on this flat linoleum floor. And the doctor's standing there, and I was able to shrug my shoulders, and lo and behold, the ball moved about maybe 15 feet across the linoleum floor. And I looked at her, I said, I'll be back. And I worked my tuchus off to get out of that wheelchair and come back to playing golf. I still have no feeling from my shoulders down, and I walk by memorization, and I have to concentrate on when I pick something up because I can't feel it in my hands. I have to gently squeeze it until I can then lift it. but you learn.
You learn.
You learn, and as I said, the mundane tasks that you take for granted are monumental conquests when I do them.
Yeah, and the generosity. I'm talking about the Segal Classic. Can you tell us just about that and how much money you have raised for the rehab center that sort of
Put me back together.
Put you back together. Yeah, you never forgot them.
Oh no, Carolyn and I made a deal that if I walked out of there, we would turn around and come back in and repay them in some way, shape, or form. And the vehicle we've used is the what they call the Segal Classic. It's a golf tournament that we have every year for past. This will be our 20th year, and we have it at 2 different golf courses in the Philadelphia area. We have 500 people to the dinner, and we've given them over $8 million thus far. But like last year, we gave them $1,060,000. And it keeps growing, and it's so rewarding for me to know that there are other people out there that share my passion, you see, because the money doesn't go to the rehab facility. The money goes for the benefit of the patients, so there's no administrative expenses. And every penny we raise goes to help the patients at Magee. Every Tuesday night we buy dinner for the family and friends of the patients so that they can break bread. There's, getting well is as much mental as it is physical. And to be able to sit there and break bread and have dinner with your family and friends as if you did prior to your accident, it's so great because that gives you something to look forward to, and you want to get back. The greatest thing that a physically challenged person can do is become a taxpayer again. I mean, they want to get back to work. They want to be treated like normal human people that, in fact, are viable members of the community, because that's what we are. We just have a temporary setback, and it can be done. You just have to believe it and be given an opportunity to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's a great place to leave. And Jerry, you've been just a great inspiration, very generous in the Segal Classic. Wonderful story. Thanks so much for sharing it with us.
I have to tell you, Barry, it's wonderful for me to be able to share this with people that are less fortunate, so that these people can achieve, and it gives them hope. I go to Magee 3 times a week to talk to the patients and show them, hey, I can do it. A dummy like me can do it. You can do it. Come on, let's get out of the wheelchair. Let's stand up. Take a step with me. And if you can goose them along, it's wonderful. And any jury verdict I've ever received pales by comparison to the euphoric feeling you get when you've been instrumental or part of that process of helping the patient get well.
Inspiration.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Great.
You take care.